Yo, what is going on, guys? Flashverse here, and welcome back to another video on The Flash Season 7. And for today's video, I am back with another theory and explained video. This video is pretty damn interesting, so I would recommend sticking till the very end of the video. And for this video, I'll be talking about how this version of Barry in the show will become the original timeline Flash. So throughout the show, we obviously had two timelines, one of which is the one which we have seen on the show. So Barry gets struck by lightning in the year of 2013 and becomes the Flash in 2014 after waking up from his coma, and basically lives through the events which we have witnessed from the Flash Season 1 all the way till present day. But as a secondary timeline to that, we have had what's called the original timeline, where Eobard Thawne never becomes Wellsabard. This time we have the original Harrison Wells launching the particle accelerator in the year of 2020, in which it obviously explodes, and in the original timeline, Barry becomes the Flash in the year of 2020, not 2013, which we obviously saw in the show. Now, the reason to why this original timeline has been altered is all because of the events of Nora Allen's murder, in which Eobard Thawne, aka the Reverse Flash, obviously changed a lot in the timeline, resulting into the original timeline being an alternate timeline, if you will, but the one we have seen on the show with Wellsabard and Barry becoming the Flash in 2013 being the new timeline, which was obviously created once Thawne murdered Nora Allen and took over the body of the original Harrison Wells. And throughout the course of the show, the original timeline Flash is arguably the most anticipated character on the show. Everyone wants to see this character again, because they just want to know more about this version of Barry, which is understandable. I'm guessing that's the reason to it. And they want to know, what takes place in the original timeline compared to what we have seen, which would be fairly interesting to see. And the only time we have seen the original timeline Flash was obviously during the Flash Season 1, where we obviously had Barry time traveling to the night that it all happened, that being Nora Allen's murder. And Barry basically witnesses the original timeline Flash facing off the Reverse Flash until the original timeline Flash notices what our Barry was about to do. So he was about to do Flashpoint during the Flash Season 1. But obviously the original timeline Flash tells him not to engage, in which our Barry doesn't. But this was the last time we have seen of the original timeline Flash, that scene during the night where Nora Allen got murdered. But what if I told you our Barry could potentially end up becoming the original timeline Flash during the Flash Season 7, which obviously would sound confusing when mentioning it at first, but as I go on to explaining it, it will slowly start to make a lot more sense. But as I said, guys, this is just a theory, so I could be wrong about that. So I do not want to overhype you guys too much, but I thought it's a fairly interesting theory, which is why I wanted to share it with you guys. But before I go over anything, however, you guys don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you are aware of more Arrowverse content coming your way. Okay, so going into the actual topic of this video. How does Barry, our Barry, become the original timeline Flash during the Flash Season 7 if these two versions of Barry are from another timeline? Now, the answer is pretty simple going by my theory. So during the ending scene of the Flash Season 7 Episode 2, we obviously cut to the year 2000, where we had Eobard Thawne being stranded in the past due to him murdering Nora Allen, and his connection to the negative speed force obviously got destroyed. And the only way he is able to go back to the future and get back home is to create the particle accelerator a lot earlier than 2020, because Eobard's not going to wait that long, in which we obviously see it ending up exploding in the year of 2013 due to what Wellsabard has done. So Thawne obviously orchestrates this accident in which he kills the original version of Harrison Wells and basically takes over his body so he could explode this particle accelerator a lot earlier than intended, in which obviously is 2013. And then we obviously end up seeing Thawne taking the body of the original Harrison Wells and burying him up so he clears the crime. But moments later, we see these green particles basically emerging from the soil in where the original Wells was buried, and these particles basically started to form a human body, in which we end up seeing the original Harrison Wells, and he is back from the dead, so he is now alive. So the original Harrison Wells could play a crucial role into creating the original Timeline Flash, if you will. So we obviously know that in the original timeline, it's the original Harrison Wells that plans to build Star Labs, and in the original timeline, he is also the one which gets the idea in creating this particle accelerator. But the only difference is from the original timeline and the timeline in which we have seen with Wellsabard is that the original Harrison Wells' particle accelerator explosion is on accident. He does not do it on purpose, unlike what Wellsabard did. But due to this accident in the year of 2020, this creates the original Timeline Flash. Now, one thing you guys may have missed is that the first 3 episodes of The Flash Season 7 are all set in 2020, because these are the remaining episodes of The Flash Season 6. So these 3 episodes take place moments after The Flash Season 6 Episode 19, so what became the finale due to the shutdown. Therefore, although we as the viewers are in 2021 at the moment, the show itself is currently set in 2020. So they could obviously wrap up the Mirror Master storyline and go on to graphic novel number 3, which would eventually be set in 2021. Now, another thing we know of is that Barry still needs to get his speed, because we obviously saw the artificial speed force going wrong. We saw it messing with Barry, and as a result to the artificial speed force, it messed up with his brain and basically screwed up with him big time, in which we obviously saw Barry becoming a robot where he's emotionless due to his speed thinking abilities, and that speed thinking getting the better of him. And that obviously resulted him into doing the wrong decisions, such as sucking Iris into the real world without thinking about the repercussions that it could do, because she's adapted to the Mirrorverse for so long, and him almost killing all of his friends as well. So we obviously saw Barry destroying the artificial speed force, meaning that he is back with using the original dead speed force. The artificial speed force is no more. So going into the finale of the Mirror Master storyline, that being episode 3, we would expect Barry getting his speed back in some way by bringing back the original speed force, because that's the most reliable option, so that it doesn't end up going wrong and screwing up with Barry, just like what the artificial speed force has done. Now, through promo images which dropped earlier today, we get this shot of the original Harrison Wells in Star Labs, and we have seen that in the first trailer as well before the season first started. So he does meet with our Team Flash members. Obviously he does have a lot of catching up to do, because he literally lost 20 years of his life. And we know this version of Harrison Wells is arguably the smartest version of Wells out of all of them, except for Wellsabard and maybe Harry as well, meaning he would know how to get Barry his speed back in some way, and also help stop what's happening with the whole Mirror Master chaos and the whole Mirror Clone situation. Now, the idea over here is that this is all set in 2020, and in the original timeline, Barry becomes the Flash in 2020. And yes, that is through the particle accelerator explosion, so we could take this theory in 2 different directions. So the first theory being, and it is the less likeliest option, is that in order for Barry to be able to get his speed back, they need to bring back the original speed force. And the way to do so is to recreate the particle accelerator explosion as it is, which, as I said, would be very unlikely because this would be too repetitive, as we've already seen that happen during the Flash season 1, so why do it again? And also we would have that whole Barry coma situation, which we'd have to deal with as well. But the more likelier option is that in post-crisis, instead of the original Harrison Wells being responsible for the particle accelerator explosion, he gets the help of Team Flash to develop this tech or device which can help Barry get his speed back in some way. And the idea over here is that Barry lost his speed, so he doesn't have the Speed Force with him. But through this tech or device which this original Harrison Wells helps develop with the help of Team Flash, that would help Barry get his speed back in some way. And technically, this would mean that the Flash is once again created, this time in the year of 2020, the same year the original Timeline Flash was created. This would mean that the Flash is technically reborn in the year of 2020. So although the particle accelerator explosion still happens in the year of 2013 by Welzabard, which is not part of the original timeline, however, the original Harrison Wells helping Barry get his speed back in the year of 2020 is kind of a post-crisis remake of the original timeline, if you will. So I guess in post-crisis, you could say that our version of Barry will become the original Timeline Flash if the original Harrison Wells helps Barry get his speed back. And yes, I know this theory is quite far-fetched, but I just thought it was a very interesting theory which I just thought of, and I just thought it was very interesting, so I wanted to share it with you guys. Be sure to tell me in the comment section down below what you guys think about this theory. But yeah guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe. And if you guys have any other theories which you guys want to share with me, be sure to tell me in the comment section down below. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.